Hello, dear soul. Welcome to this podcast episode where I wanted to share a karmic battlefield aftermath. I know we're tired of hearing about the spiritual battlefield, but as I will be sharing tomorrow, a lot of us right now are going through it, are going through the process of just really integrating the whole process, the whole almost like taking a pause and allowing the dust to just settle. And there is a whole new outlook on life that we have gained. So much resilience, so much more wisdom, and so much more clarity, at least when it comes to the past. And the wisdom and the clarity for the future, it comes in when we fully integrate the lessons from the past, because we don't want to drag any unresolved trauma from the past into our future. The main thing that I wanted to share today is the need to detach ourselves from the karmic influences and to understand much more in depth what that means. Because for a lot of us, we may have fought this idea for a very long time. We may have been programmed into believing that family is family, or I don't know, whatever the conditioning is for you. Like you marry someone, you die with that person, or there are maybe cultural restrictions, there are maybe religious imposed limitations that have made you believe that you're a bad person, that have turned you into the disobedient, the enemy. And I completely resonate with that. And just as a reminder, as souls, we chose those families. We chose families that will teach us unhealthy dynamics. Why? So that we can see the toxicity in the old system. Because just imagine if you were to be born in a healthy family, just full of star seeds, and you'd just be having a great life. You would not feel called to go on a mission and help the world. And again, whatever your purpose is, all these past experiences are meant to trigger us to do service on a higher level than just enjoying the human experience as it is. Because it is nice to I'm not saying life on Earth is horrifying. The whole imprinting and the whole programming is and the whole devil influence in the matrix. But life on Earth is actually incredibly beautiful, and it's such an experience that it's challenging, right? We come into a body, we have all these there are obviously many challenging factors to it, but also the fact to be able to experience just nature, just being on Earth, just feeling the frequency of planet Earth. It's magical. Having a body, tasting, having enjoying this, all the senses. That's life on Earth, and that's what life is supposed to be on Earth. Sorry. My throat chakra is just... and but this is how life is supposed to be. Okay, obviously in the new Earth. Because up until this point, this way of life has been perceived as a luxury, because the quote-unquote normal life was being, serving in the Matrix, being a slave in the Matrix, or being a slave to the karmic cycles. And it was never the feeling of freedom, the feeling of actually being able to enjoy the human existence. And this is what we are totally reprogramming and recreating and reinstalling into the new Earth. Is, the new souls that are coming. Obviously they will have their own soul purpose, but it doesn't have to be so challenging. They will do their soul purpose, but just because their soul, they will feel called towards. It's going to be like just a calling and a desire they will naturally pursue. But it's not because the external circumstances force them to do so. It comes from a place of fulfillment, and it comes from a place of connection to source. They just know that, okay, my soul has chosen this purpose, this mission, and so I will do so. But for many of us, it came through very tough and challenging experiences. Now, this is the last generation that this is going to be the case for in the new Earth. Obviously, the 3D will keep going and keep looping. But the reason why I wanted to share this is to understand that our job, although extremely, extremely challenging, it is to remove ourselves from the influences that are not able to grow at the rate and at the pace that we are called to grow. And that may mean removing yourself from people that used to have a strong influence on you. I'm talking really influential people in your life. You know who those are. And the most opinionated, the most dangerous. Because you see, we are not here to live up to other people's expectations. And in the 3D world, in the karmic cycles, everyone thinks they know what's best for you. Okay, and if you're listening to whatever your karmic family says that your path should be, or your neighbors or society, you're only going to loop inside of those karmic cycles, and you're never going to feel free. And I want to share something with you, and the only reason why I'm sharing some bits of my personal experience is because I know how it feels to be validated in some experiences, and to know that you're absolutely not alone. But I have always identified myself as being a rebel. However, I was a rebel at a distance, meaning even from afar, I tried not to follow my family's path, but even from afar, I would still keep that fear imprinting that says, if I don't please my family, something bad is going to happen. And this was through truly big traumatic experiences where you maybe saw your mom really either going through some panic attacks because you were disobedient, and she had the fear programming in her that said, oh my God, you're a bad parent, or the neighbors around were whatever criticizing her. And our family had their own fears, their own programmings, their own shame, their own a lot of them, they have their ancestors, they have gone through severe wars. Mine have personally gone through a total fall of the system, and overnight they had just nothing. The system that previously was so structured and so rigid, overnight just everything changed, and they themselves had to create jobs, they themselves had to survive, they had to make it. And all that fear imprinting, it's in them, okay, because they didn't have the tools to know how to not live in fear. Their life was survival. And all that imprinting and all those panic attacks and all those reactions to you not wanting to follow the safe path have programmed you into believing that if you don't please whoever that person is for you, it's going to end bad. And gosh, this is such a huge limiting conditioning that it has personally taken me years to detox out of my body. And this is why it is only through removing ourselves from these influences that we can actually heal ourselves, because so long we're going to stay attached in this toxic dynamic where, a person is unhappy with who I am, or is really disturbed by my choices. So long we're going to stay in this toxic dynamic, we're never going to be free. And what we need to understand is that it is no one should impose your destiny. I really want you to hear this and let it sink in. You don't owe nothing to anyone. And all the manipulation and all the after everything I did for you kind of talk, that needs to go. That is completely unhealthy, and it's just another way of, just another means of programming. I know people that are stuck in jobs because they think they cannot, they owe something to a particular company or to a particular workplace. But it is not the case. Your destiny, and this is what we're all called to do. We don't owe anything to anyone. And this doesn't mean that this doesn't make us the unselfish narcissist that just take things from others, and no. And we really have to let go of this programming where where the exchange is conditional. I sacrificed myself for you, and now in return I expect something else. That is extremely toxic dynamic. So what I wanted to share is that our responsibility is to really remove ourselves from these influences, for as hard as it may seem in the beginning. And the more you do so, and it may take years, okay? It's, don't be attached to timelines or outcomes, because everyone chooses their own destiny as well. Just like you choose your own, respect the fact that other people have chosen theirs, even if that is, living in the same misery of mind, okay? And not willing to grow. Respect that. I know it is hard. And when you do so, actually, what you the best thing that you can do for anyone around you, it is teaching them through your frequency what it's like to truly be happy, to truly be fulfilled, to truly live in freedom. And some of them, for as stuck and rigid as they may seem from afar, they will be inspired. Others will just keep barking and throwing arrows at you and, set those boundaries, set bigger boundaries if that's the case. But some, it is not until you actually really take the bravery and the choice to go and follow and pursue your destiny that other people will be inspired, because they themselves are stuck in their own limitations. So they cannot give you advice as to, go spread your wings, because they don't know what that's like and they're afraid of freedom. They have been programmed to be afraid, to be terrified of life, to live in survival, in constant survival. As for some of you, please apply your own example. But what I want to share is some will actually be so inspired that years down the road, you'll actually, because when you do healing work, you heal your bloodline. And years down the road, you will see you will actually see the effects of that. It's not going to be the case for everyone. And again, so long you're attached to, I'm going to do this healing work to save my family. No, it's not going to work. It's not. Unless, because you're still a people pleaser. Oh, I'm going to fix myself so that I fix others. No. It is only when you choose yourself, but full-heartedly, with all your soul, and know that is not a selfish decision, that you actually, your frequency, the frequency of truth, will or will not inspire others. But the only way that you can, there is no guarantee, but the only way that you can even make it a possibility is when you save yourself from the karmic cycles, and when you yourself ascend. Okay, I personally had to remove myself from 96% of the karmic family in my life, and some just really keep throwing arrows, and I'm keep being the black sheep, and I keep being the horrible person, and I keep being, just like a punching bag for them. I mean, I'm not, because I'm not allowing that, but it's, I'm removed myself from even hearing what they think about me. But in the past, I was always the target. And your light will truly, truly, truly scare the demons in them. But if they don't allow themselves to do the necessary work to remove themselves from their own demons, your job is not to, to save them. So the more you choose the path of your destiny, the more you also heal your bloodline, your ancestors, the more you actually do what's best for everyone. It really is, because when you are part of the oneness, when you do what is best for you always, this has a ripple effect. And I will leave you guys with that, because this is really, really important. When you do what is best for you, this has a ripple effect out into the world. And again, it is not our job to be attached to who and what happens, that your job is to really work through detaching yourself completely from the outcome. And I know it feels like you're leaving people alone, or you're leaving people in their misery, or you're leaving people behind, and you're being such an ungrateful son, ungrateful parent, and ungrateful whatever. But those toxic dynamics need to go. This is what you need to understand, is that you're not necessarily, when people are so stuck in their ego, they believe that you do something against them. And this is one of the biggest, most triggering things for me in the past, is I was just trying to make people understand that my choices had nothing to do with them. Had nothing to do with them but myself. I wanted to be free. I wanted to live my life away from those influences. And when people take things personally, that's when they're stuck in their own ego. So when you are able to really start going on this journey alone, when you know that you're actually never alone, when you're able to reestablish that connection with Source, with Spirit, and with God, and detox yourself from the negative and the dark and the karmic imprintings of family dynamics, of culture, of religion, of whatever they may be. When you go through this detoxing and purification process, and you relearn what true energy from Source, what true love from Source, what true freedom from Source, what true purpose from Source are all about, and you reconnect with your beautiful soul, and just know that you have the right to live in your fullest, most unbridled expression here on Earth, and it is only going to be of benefit for everyone around. But again, we're not doing this as a means to an end, because that is not authentic. So long our expression is going to be some sort of performance to get something, or to get someone to change, or to get another person to see don't you get it? This is the way life should be. Please understand. No. Detachment, keyword for ascension, detachment. Because when we are attached to the 3D ways of being, then the conditional ways of doing life, we cannot ascend. And I'm really here to share that if you find yourself still in that process, it is not an easy one. Okay, I know I share sometimes, I probably seem cold-hearted when I share about karmic people, but it doesn't mean that it hasn't in the past been extremely challenging for me. To really heal the codependency, like, you really have to go through the process of just really holding your heart, and there's so much to be healed. But it is truly through this process that you are reborn. It is truly through this process that you will regain a new sense of self, and it is only through this process that you really get to experience the freedom of being who you truly are out into the world. So I hope this serves. I hope this landed where it needed to land. And with that, I will see you in the next one.